When one thinks of royalty, it is usually in regard to a king or queen, or a person or persons of extremely high social status. What is not considered as royalty are firearms, unless they are associated with a king or queen, or a person or persons of extremely high social status. Stick with me a bit, because there are exceptions, and I'm going to tell you all about a classic Royal pistol. The Kimber Classic Royal 1911 is one enticing pistol, fit for the hand of a royal or just everyday minions like ourselves. The Kimber Classic Royal is a classic 1911-based full-size handgun that can serve several purposes, just like its foundation, the original 1911, of which has done so since the late 1890s, when it was first developed by John Moses Browning, and subsequently formally adopted by the United States Army on March 29, 1911. While the original 1911 was a combat arm, rough-hewn for the rigors of battle, the 1911 has since grown into a pistol for the everyman. Despite being challenged by newer and lighter weight pistol designs in .45 caliber, such as the Glock 21, the Sig Sauer P220, Springfield XD, and the Heckler & Koch USP, the M1911 shows no signs of decreasing in popularity and continues to be widely present in various forms. The Kimber Classic Royal is just simply another form of a 1911 pistol, but what a form it is! Before I get into the features, let me run the basic specifications past your eyes. This model of the Kimber Classic Royal is from another time and was loaned to me by my son-in-law that, for some reason, has helped me put my grips around quite a few handguns to review. Despite its age, the pistol, not my son-in-law, has weathered time well. The finish is showing no serious indication of abnormal wear and tear, and the pistol has many features indicative of modern manufacturing. Let me start with the sights. Both front and rear sights are Sig Trigon night sights that, when new, glow very brightly in dim light. Unfortunately, the sights on this pistol have diminished in brightness, an indication that they have been on the pistol for a very long time. Fortunately, though, both front and rear sights are replaceable. In lieu of doing that, however, someone painted over the front sight with a red color to provide, I suppose, better contrast between the front and rear sight. I sure would like to see these sights replaced, if nothing else, to get this fine pistol back to its original form. The rear sight is an anti-snag type, and like the front sight, is only drift adjustable for windage. Front and rear deeply and nicely cut slide serrations aid the operator in press checking or other slide manipulation. The ejection port, as expected, is lowered and flared to better assist the pistol in ridding spent shells as efficiently as possible. You will note the internal extractor, another true-to-form 1911 feature. Does its job well in pulling spent cases from the chamber. The slide, as noted in the specifications, is steel, with highly polished black on the side with a matte finish on the top. There's only very minor wear on the finish at the muzzle end. As far as slide markings, there is only the Kimber logo on the left side and the model, Classic Royal, on the right side. Moving into the frame, which is highly polished on the sides and received a matte finish on the underside, which blends beautifully with the matte finish on the slide's dust cover. The plunger tube is a staked unit, a very common way of securing the plunger tube. All controls, thumb safety, slide release and magazine button, and grip safety are in their usual positions. The thumb safety is not ambidextrous, being true to the 1911 nature, and is very easily moved from one position to the other without effort, while providing slight tension and an audible snick when locked into place. Both the thumb safety and slide release are of abundant material, extended and serrated, for positive manipulation of both. The grip safety, that of course, has to be pressed in fully for the pistol to fire, as no memory bump per se, but is formed at the bottom to ensure that, even with a high hold on the pistol while riding the thumb safety during firing, grip safety remains disengaged fully. The grip safety also incorporates a very nice beaver tail that keeps the shooting hand from hammer or slide bite. Above the beaver tail is a very nice Royal Combat style hammer that allows for easy cocking and decocking of the pistol. Like any 1911 hammer, there are only two cock positions, half cock, or as some call it, the safety position, and fully cocked. The hammer safety position, or half-cock notch if you will, I consider as the last safety to be had that prevents the hammer from striking the firing pin should the hammer slip from one's grasp during cocking, or should the full cock hammer position be defeated if the pistol is dropped on the hammer, or any other malady that might cause the hammer to drop unintentionally. Please note that the 1911 was, and is, not intended to be carried with the hammer at the safety position. The Kimber Classic Royal is built according to the Colt 70 series, and that, aside from the disconnector safety, there is no means otherwise to prevent the 1911 from firing, unless it is in full battery. Seasoned operators of the 1911 state that the 70 series pistols have the best triggers, bar none, and I can't say that I disagree with them. The trigger guard has a substantial opening in the usual 1911 way, which allows for a glove shooting fingers to be inserted without interference. Externally, the trigger guard is nicely rounded to prevent holster snag when holstering the pistol. The trigger itself is the now common serrated, slightly curved to medium-length aluminum trigger face that just invites the trigger finger a place to rest when shooting the pistol. The trigger is also skeletonized with an integrated over-travel adjustment screw. No trigger over-travel was detected. The trigger pull weight of this beauty is 2 pounds 11.3 ounces, with very little free travel and very crisp let-off. Pulling the trigger to the rear leads me into the left side only magazine lock and release mechanism, right behind the trigger guard, just where it should be on a 1911, of which is a very prominent button to ensure positive release of empty magazines. Last in the line of features are the grip panels. Standard Kimber double diamond with Kimber logo grip panels have been replaced by a set of G10 grip panels, which has an indentation on the left side for easy access to the magazine release button. These grips exhibit a good grip texture in all the right places and feel very positive in the hand. Well, that takes care of the features. Let me talk briefly about maintaining the Kimber Classic Royal. Let's take a look at the innards of the Kimber Classic Royal. See what we are dealing with here. We have a 5-inch match-grade barrel and bushing, with the barrel being of the John Moses Browning swing-length design. We have a full-length guide rod, accompanied by a 16-pound recoil spring. Note that there is also a shock buffer installed on this example to help protect that royalty, I can only assume. Note the lack of trigger safety lever or pin on this model, signifying that the Classic Royal is built to the Colt 70 series of pistols. Although this piece of royalty is quite up in the years, very little wear and tear is appearing. Someone took care of this royal beast. Assuming that most are familiar with the disassembly, cleaning, reassembly, and function checking of a 1911, I'll dispense with the notion of repeating that information here. I will, however, and since Kimber is very specific regarding lubrication of their 1911 pistols, repeat that information here. Note that this information can be applied to any 1911 by any manufacturer, and it is the way that I lubricate all of my 1911 pistols.
Use a premium lubrication product such as Shooter's Choice FP, tin, or similar quality oil. Grease is not recommended. If the lubrication product contains Teflon, shake well before using as the Teflon settles. Lubricate the following parts: slide and frame rails, 3 drops on each side. Disconnector on top of frame, 1 drop. Barrel hood, 2 drops spread across surface. Barrel locking lugs inside slide and on barrel, 1 drop on each lug. Barrel link, 1 drop behind link. Slide stop pin, 1 drop spread across surface. Outside of barrel, 3 drops spread across surface. Cocked hammer, 1 drop in between the hammer and frame. Guide rod, 1 drop spread across surface.
I like to use a healthy quantity on the slide and frame rails, and then use a small hobby brush to spread it evenly across the rails. I have found that 1911 pistols do like to run on the wet side. Now, let me get out of this segment and into the range to see how the Kimber Classic Royal and I work together. The Kimber Classic Royal fits in the hand of royalty or in the hands of those not so privileged, like you and I. Perfect in form and function, Kimber Classic Royal would fill your needs for a most excellent full-size government model 1911. Unfortunately, this one is out of production, but Kimber has many 1911 pistols, and surely you would find one that would bring the ultimate in shooting pleasure. Well, I must take my leave from this review, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Please return for my other reviews, as I would look forward to seeing you here again. Until we cross each other's paths at another time, stay healthy, vigilant, armed, and safe.